What up, what up, what up, fam? It's your man, VACAY-J. We are here to discuss my first reaction to the season finale of Bel-Air. Are you ready? Let's get it.
From the block to the booth, the vision's revealed. We're unstoppable now, and the truth gon' reign. This is legacy in motion, remember the name. This is VACAY-JAYTV, the next level of exclusives. You know what I'm saying? Salute, 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 salute.
All right, fam, we're back with another video. It's your man, VACAY, and yeah, man, it's one last ride. And I just wanted to give my first reaction to the entire season of season 4 of Bel-Air. Now, I know, look, the people have spoken. This is the last season. It's over after this. And we know some of y'all was watching, some of y'all wasn't. So I'm looking to talk to the people that have been watching the show. And again, I've had my ups and downs with it as well. Family, a lot of y'all know. But I want to give my first reaction because the way that they ended these last episodes, these last 3 episodes, I think they gave it a proper ending. But we'll get into that. I got to say that to me, the ending of this franchise, right, as you call it, Bel-Air is kind of a bittersweet for me because honestly, the first season of Bel-Air, I was definitely with it. You know, the first season, I really didn't have a problem with it. I was into it. I was waiting for, you know, everything to come through. Like it had a lot of edge to it. I was really into, that season 1 of Bel-Air. I mean, going back and forth, playing ball, talking a whole lot of smack. We saw the backdrop of Philly and everything else like that. And Will was like a real knucklehead type dude. You know what I'm saying? Somebody I would know from the block, from Harlem or whatever. But he seemed like a kid that you would know that played ball, but still talk a lot of trash, but still could back up what he's doing. You know what I mean? And then he had little burn on, little banger on him, or whatever the case was, right? And he got into a little trouble. So we all know the story, man. But getting to the season 4 family, I gotta say that this ending was bittersweet, but I think they did it some justice. Especially the very end where they was on top of the mountain looking over, California. We'll get to that. Before we get to anything else, make sure you go watch the last 3 episodes that just dropped. Because I don't want to spoil it for you because there's a whole lot of surprises in these last 3 episodes of the season. All right, season 4. So, family, with all that being said, I'm going to go around the room. And just give my assessment on what I thought of each character and how they ended the season and my reaction to it. All right. Definitely drop your reactions below. And of course, hit that like button, share this out. So let's start off with Hillary, right? If you remember from last season, Hillary fell back in love with her ex-boyfriend who was a football player and all this and that. He had heart problems, but they got married, right? Went through the rigmarole, the back and forth. She was back and forth with Jazz and all of this and that. She got married to him, and on their honeymoon, family, this man basically was unalive. She went to get him a drink. He's laying on a bed, gone. Definitely damaged her. So in this season, she ends up going to Costa Rica just to get her mind cleared, just to be by herself, just to kind of find herself and, kind of get through this. Jazz tried to apologize to her. She went off on Jazz. You the last person I wanted to see. I'm like, dang, that's not how you supposed to go off on a dude that you was kind of messing around. You know what I'm saying? You was back and forth with, you kissed him. Y'all both kissed each other. But the man was giving you space, and then boom. I was a little bit upset with her, just like I have been in the past, three other seasons. You know what I'm saying? Well, 2 other seasons. But she went to Costa Rica. Now, in these last few episodes, she came back because, of course, Aunt Viv is having a baby. So Aunt Viv going through the stress, going through this, that, and the third. Aunt Viv is now having some problems, some complications. So, Hillary came back. And with her coming back, it was a good look. She learned a lot. She kind of got herself recentered. And she came back to help out mom, to cheer her up and help out where she could. Right. So, how this ended with Hillary, and she was planning on going back after the baby was born. She was planning on going back because she got a job offer, whatever the case is. And, it's nice out there. At the end of the day, Hillary ended up staying, and she did end up making up with Jazz. So, as far as Hillary's ending, am I okay with it? Yes, I'm okay with that. Now, let's get to Uncle Phil and Jeffrey. Now, I didn't see this coming. This is what added a little bit of edge for me in season 4, which I appreciate because that's exactly for me what kept me watching. Had to have a little bit of edge, a little bit of high stakes, a little bit of, hey, you know what? If you don't do this, then this is what's going to happen to you. Right. So from my end, Jeffrey got caught up with his whole cartel thing. Right. Excuse me. The syndicate out of England, they call it the syndicate. And yeah, they kidnapped Will. We found out that Jeffrey was the one that actually saved him. But now they're coming after Jeffrey, and Jeffrey has to do certain things. And we find out that, yes, this lady who played Noma in Ghost, she was actually his sister. She is the sister, but she's the leader of the syndicate. All right. And it seems like the syndicate was ran by their father. And yeah, Jeffrey can't pay his way out of it. And here's where it gets interesting, right? Jeffrey comes to Uncle Phil and says, listen, we have to launder money through these companies that you're working with on your new project, or the syndicate's going to come after us. It was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So once that came, I was like, okay, we got a little bit of edge. What we going to do? Uncle Phil did what he needed to do, got it done. But then we kind of find out in these last few episodes, again, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, go watch it first. We find out that Uncle Phil went and talked to Lisa's dad, the DA. And now we setting all this up to take down the syndicate. And if Jeffrey don't come through and work with, guess what? He gonna get locked up too. But it ended up working out where Jeffrey did comply, did work with the FBI, and he worked with Uncle Phil and Lisa's father. Yeah, Jeffrey got all the information he needed. And guess what? They took down, the syndicate. Everybody's free now. Cool. Ashley's right there. And Ashley, man, she's been going through the ups and downs and stuff. We rarely saw her in this entire last season, but she made a stand for herself, for her friend. And once baby Nikki came out, right, Aunt Viv had the baby, right, which I'll get into. Then she was kind of like writing a love letter to the baby and also an inspirational letter because she had to do like her freshman speech or whatever the case is, right? And she wants to go to a different school. Everybody's trying to go to different schools. These guys, they're about to graduate, go to college. So that's what's going on with that. So let's talk about it. Aunt Viv has the baby. Now, they brought in the original Aunt Viv, who's going to play like the midwife to this Aunt Viv right here. And the original Aunt Viv was like, oh, you remind me, she came in, she was all love, all spiritual and stuff like that. And this Aunt Viv was like, oh, you remind me of my own mom. And she's like, oh, I need my mama here. And when she was having the baby, it was hard. It was difficult because she's an older lady having a baby, right? So yeah, it was like, man, what do I do? But the original Aunt Viv came in and definitely got her right mentally, emotionally, spiritually, got Uncle Phil right because there was a lot going on with the money laundering and there was a lot of, just bad energy. And she was like, I need y'all to get all the bad energy out. She's going to need you, Phil. Get rid of all the bad stuff. And they wasn't going to make it to the hospital, so they had the baby in the house. Aunt Viv, she was going through it. And she had this whole vision of her mom. She's like, you could do it. It's like, okay, I could do it. Real cinematic. So they ended up really doing a great job visually of showing what Aunt Viv was going through and the whole process of giving birth to baby Nikki, who we find out, not like the original Fresh Prince, but in Bel Air, baby Nikki is actually a girl. And they named her after her mother, Nicoletta, right? So then Will says, oh, little Nikki, baby Nikki, right? So we still got baby Nikki, except it was a girl, not a boy like the original Fresh Prince of Bel Air, right? Okay, let's get down to it. Let's talk about Carlton, and then we're going to talk about Will. So Carlton, as we know, Carlton is going through his ups and downs. He originally wanted to go to Princeton, but turn around. Now he wants to go to a HSBC, which is weird because you would think that Carlton would want to go to an Ivy League school, but that's originally what he was thinking. But going through all the ups and downs with everything that he went through, it was like, man, Carlton actually wants to go ahead and go to HSBC. He didn't want to be around, you know, the same type of folks, I'll say it like that he was around in Bel Air. He wanted to be around his brothers and see what that felt like. He already got a glimpse. He already got a picture. He already got a little taste of actually living with Will and being around his brother, who was like his cousin, but they like brothers more so, right? And yeah, he was going back and forth with that. At the same time, the boy in this season lied about his own story and gave Amina's story, his girlfriend, about him ODing and, almost drowning in the pool. That was Amina's story, but he told that to the guys at Harvard or whatever the case is, or Princeton, I should say. And it was like, oh, that's what we need. We want something like that, a real story, a real, redemption story, but it was a lie. Turn around, Amina got in trouble for it, but he didn't, but he had to make up for it. And he did. Turn around, him and Amina got back together. They forgave each other. He was about to get married. Wild stuff. But they ended up going to two different colleges, but in the same state of Georgia. So your boy Carlton's going to Morehouse, and Amina's going to another school, college in Georgia, not too far from each other. So they're figuring that they're each other's people, they're each other's person, and it's going to work out for them at the end of the day. So I'm happy for them. Hopefully they stay away from the rugs, right? And they keep it together. But Carlton seems like a much cooler Carlton now, looking out for Will. Let's get down to Will. Will has been going through the ups and downs of life, from trouble in Philly to dealing with his father and, just dealing with the ups and downs of what he really wants to do. Since doing Black Cess and all this and that, he wants to play, basketball, but still go to business school. So Will was really trying to use all his resources, use all that he could in order to get, recruited to a school for basketball, but at the same time be able to learn about business because he really wants to stay focused on doing business because they did Black Cess and it was such a big success, right? So, the place that did accept him wanted him to just focus on basketball and really put like school secondary. He wasn't really into that. His mom was like, listen, they accepted you. They're going to pay for you. You go to that school. But of course, we know Will going to do what he want to do. At the end of the day, if it don't feel good, it ain't going to work out. At the end of the day, he ended up going to UPenn, right? Pennsylvania, University of Pennsylvania, where they had a basketball program, right? It's an Ivy League school, and they had the best business program for him. So it worked out. Now, again, him and Lisa, one last time, they had to go through some turmoil and all of this and that. And Lisa kissed some dude. This other girl was coming on to Will, and Will stopped her. But when Lisa was being honest and said, listen, I kissed the guy, well, he said, well, yeah, I kissed the girl too, and we did a little bit more. So they ended up going back and forth. He ended up apologizing because he felt hurt that she kissed him. She didn't even know why she kissed him. He just kind of charmed his way into her heart for whatever reason. And, they decided, Lisa and Will decided to break up for now, but still remain friends, which was very mature of them to do, even though, it was just the back and forth and stuff like that. So it was a real test of how would they do if they were still together and still be in college. So they ended up breaking up. They ended up on this camping trip. Will, your boy Carlton, Amina, Lisa, they had fun and decided they're going to do it every year. But They're not going to go camping. They're going to have a chef and go to the Four Seasons. Hey, man, they had a going away party for Will, and it was cool. Everybody had their, sentimental things that they wanted to say to Will and everything that he was doing. And at the end of the day, it was definitely a well-written, well-put together finale show of Bel Air. As Jazz is driving him off to the airport, Carlton decides, hey, he got a couple of weeks before he goes to school, so he's going to hang out with Will in Philly. He's like, yeah, I'll go there, wear some of his clothes, steal his ex-girl, stuff like that. Carlton became real cool at the end. He was cool at the end. And, one last time, Will wanted to see the scenery of California. He wanted to see, from the mountainside to see the California skyline. And he's standing there talking about it. We see that Jazz and Hillary in another scene, they possibly may be getting back together. They're just cool because Hillary did stay, but she's walking across the street from your boy Jazz's cannabis spot now, which is cool. So the fellas go, Will is still there, and this guy walks up on Will. And who is it? It's the actual Will Smith. And he's kicking knowledge to him. He's like, yeah, you're afraid of the future. Don't worry about it. He says, you know what? We're going to be all right. He's like, yeah, we're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. He just kicking wisdom to him, whatever. Carlton rolls up like, yo, we got to go. We got to catch the plane. And little Will is like, oh, I'm just kicking it with OG. He giving me some knowledge. And Carlton's like, who you talking about? And the Will Smith disappears. So I thought it was cool. Kind of let him know everything's going to be fine, man. Don't even worry about it. Don't stress it. We're going to be good. And it was the older version of him, which was cool. I like how they played that out. And that was pretty much the end of the season. They did it right. I definitely clapped on that. And at the end of the day, Bel Air was an okay series. Well, there's some good points, yes. Well, there's some low points, yes. But that's with any series. So I gotta, from an A, B, C, D aspect of the entire season, I would give Bel Air a B. All right. I would definitely give it a B. So that's just my thoughts on it, man. Give me your thoughts, drop it below. Let me know your thoughts on what you thought about the entire season of Bel Air. And I definitely will respond back to all your responses. It's your man, VACAY-J. At the end of the day, it's that one last ride. And listen, I can't be mad. You know what I'm saying? This came out on my mom's birthday. You know what I'm saying? I can't be mad at Bel Air, man. They did their best. And it is what it is. Hopefully we'll see some of these actors in different things and in the future. And I wish them nothing but the best. All right, family, definitely drop your thoughts and your first reactions to the entire season below. It's your man, VACAY-J. Until next time, salute.
Yeah. Welcome to VACAY-JTV. The next level of exclusives. Know what I'm saying? Salute. Hit that subscribe. Smash that bell. Ride with the real. We West Coast winning, you dig?